Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Biggerplate. I'm delighted to have with me today Hans Terhurne. Have I done that right?
Terhurne.
Oh, pretty close anyway. From Creamatics, who is a Biggerplate partner and who has agreed to answer a couple of questions for me here on camera in Rotterdam, where I've been today for the Mindjet Roadshow. So Hans, thank you for joining me. I've got some questions for you. I'm going to ask you and you see how you go. So, in 5 words, tell us what you do.
My main qualities are that of a facilitator and a trainer, so that's what I mainly do.
Okay, well that's 5 words or more, but we'll let you have it. Okay. So, when and how did you first become involved in sort of mind mapping and the visual sphere?
Must have been something like 25 years ago, as I read the first books of Tony Buzan.
Right.
And since 15 years I'm using the first software that existed at the moment. It was MindMap.
Okay, so you've been a long time user of mapping.
Yeah.
And what's sort of the main focus of your work then, and what are you doing with your clients and customers?
At this moment it's mainly facilitating, so crowd mapping with one or more people making a picture of what's going on over there. I did it with one person several times, of course, and the biggest group was last year with 1,200 people.
So you facilitated mind mapping with 1,000 people?
Right.
How did that go?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Of course it was. Yeah. Could tell something about it, because people were talking in groups of 7 on tables about certain themes. This was collected by people I trained before in mind maps, handwritten mind maps around the room. And a guy with a microphone was collecting the highlights from these mind maps, and I was putting them in electronic mind map, and this was projected on 4 screens, big screens in that room. So it was going around.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So what is it that sort of, you've been in this world quite a while now, so what is it that excites you about being involved in mind mapping, in visual mapping?
Visual mapping, I should say, because I also do a lot with process mapping and decision mapping, these kind of things. The most interesting is that is the involvement of the people. The moment you're putting something on a screen or on the wall, they're getting involved. Not only involved, at the end there's also commitment, and it happens every time again. What also happens is that it's not a discussion anymore the moment you're talking about themes this way. It's much more a dialogue. People are asking what's behind instead of yes and no.
So it's much more involving of other people.
Much more involving and much more commitment about what is coming out of that map, what kind of map it might be.
Yeah. So what then could you sum up and say, what could you help Biggerplate members with?
It's difficult for me, because what I'm doing is a lot of time it's personal mind maps, or it's company confidential mind maps, so difficult to put them on Biggerplate. But I had an idea today. I wrote a book about creativity techniques. I think I'm going to make a mind map from that one to put it on Biggerplate and help people.
What if somebody wants to what could you help a company with in terms of facilitating mapping and things like that? Is that sort of crowd mapping thing, or is it small teams?
It's crowd mapping in my case, that's the way I call it, and or cloud mapping on the moment you do it online. Crowd mapping is with small teams, bigger teams. With bigger teams you need two roles, or you need 2 persons. You need a process facilitator for the interaction with the group, and you need a content facilitator for putting everything in some kind of a map. Sometimes you can do the totals with your own, with a small group or a simple theme. Sometimes you have to be with 2 people and make a nice map of the event.
So what's, in your opinion, what do you find what do you get out of Biggerplate as a sort of community with mind mapping content? And what do you think it can do for people?
Yeah, I was thinking about one of the creativity techniques that I like very much. That's elegant stealing.
Elegant stealing?
Elegant stealing.
Right.
We invent a lot of things, but most of things have been invented already. So looking at a site like Biggerplate helps us quite a lot, and we have done sometimes 80% of the work already because it's there.
So we're facilitating theft of ideas.
You're facilitating theft of ideas.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I might change that to our tagline.
Okay.
So, anything new or exciting sort of coming up the road for you? You've obviously, so you've just written a book that just out recently?
I've written 2 books, one about creativity techniques. It was published in English last year.
Right.
And 1 year before I published a book about process mapping, but it's only in Dutch, sorry for you.
I just have to work on my Dutch.
Maybe I'm going to translate it. No, don't know yet. But I think what is fascinating to do some more facilitating online, so in the cloud.
Right.
Call it cloud mapping. I was facilitating a few groups around the world last month, and with giving them the possibility to add all kinds of things to a map and have a Skype meeting every 2 weeks, makes it possible to regroup and to ask each other what's going on. And after a few of these kind of sessions, then there's a nice result in the most times.
Sounds good. Well, Hans, thank you very much for talking with me today, and also I should say that Hans did actually pick me up off the road as I was walking to the event today, so I got a free lift as well, so that was appreciated too. So this is Liam Hughes from Biggerplate with Hans from Creamatics. You can learn more about Hans and his work at his website, which is creamatics.nl,
Right.
correct? Or from the Biggerplate Partner Network section of the site. Thank you very much.